A flag ripples in the Baltimore breeze. In the lobby of the downtown Hilton, a single Cosmopolitan slips through a woman's fingers and shatters on the floor. Behind a nondescript window, in a nondescript brick warehouse, Peter Angelos presses a glowing red button. Welcome to Night Baseball. And welcome back, sports fans. August Magnolia here, along with Mike Bordick. And for those of you just joining us, the Orioles are currently trailing 7-0, as Falcon Ridge White Stocking starter Eli Entwistle is currently throwing what can best be described as an immaculate game. He has recorded 12 consecutive outs without throwing a single pitch, relying instead on his personal, overwhelming sense of ennui and despair, which he channels into a fearsome glower. Each Orioles batter has stood in, only to feel an unspeakable weight, a frustration with his family, a deep-seated resentment for his omission from the 2014 Orioles Pets calendar, and a fear of something that cannot be quite defined. They then, to a man, have sighed and returned to the dugout, fighting back tears. There has also been a strange development above Oriole Park at Camden Yards, as, for the last 3 innings, a giant vortex of yellow light and haunting, yet undeniably beautiful music has been gathering until it obscures much of the night sky and the Hilton Hotel.
Well, and Entwistle really has his stare working tonight. It's a real fine outing, made even more remarkable by the fact that he came into tonight's game with an 0-6 record and an ERA over 7, to go along with a series of unexplained abrasions and burns along his chest and shoulders. By the way, August, you mentioned the Orioles' 2014 Pets calendar. That's available in the Orioles gift shop or online at www.orioles.com/shop.
Thank you, Mike Bordick, for that important reminder. However, it will be difficult for our fans to access that website, as it is currently filled with blood. The principal damage from the White Stockings offense came in the bottom of the 3rd, when cleanup hitter Thurston Gompers laced a double back up the middle that clove Jemile Weeks into 2 separate halves, and also allowed 2 runs to score. Miraculously, the 2 halves of Jemile Weeks have reformed into 2 second basemen, both of whom still rate negatively in the ultimate zone rating metric, as defined by Fangraphs.com.
And Gompers has really been on a tear lately, hitting over 340 in road games, racking up 12 RBI and 3 fatalities on this road trip alone. And you know, Fangraphs is a great website, but I've never been an advanced metrics kind of a guy. Weeks has been just fantastic since joining the team, and his clubhouse presence has been a welcome distraction from the unexplained but menacing hooded figures who've replaced the entire training staff. He's got to be considered one of the best second basemen in the major leagues today.
2 of the best second basemen, Mike Bordick. Meanwhile, Orioles starter Wei-Yin Chen has not fared nearly as well as Entwistle. Thus far, he's given up 7 runs on 9 hits and been forced to sign a contract consigning his as-yet unborn child to Falcon Ridge manager Valkron the Omnipotent. After escaping a bases-loaded jam in the 4th inning, Chen was last seen wading slowly into the inner harbor, wringing his hands and moaning.
Tommy Hunter, however, pitched a scoreless 5th and will take the mound again for the Orioles, facing the bottom of the White Stockings order. He'll go against shortstop Bucky Thurston, right fielder Lyndon LaRouche, the younger brother of Adam and Andy, such a great baseball family there, and their 9th place hitter, who has no name but is rather a formless amalgamation of Hunter's deepest fears and insecurities.
Thurston stands in against Hunter, brandishing a glowing purple bat. The first pitch from Hunter is a fastball on the outside corner for strike one. Thurston looks displeased. He steps out of the box and has whispered something into the barrel of his bat.
Yeah, it's very strange. Many of these Falcon Ridge batters will do that between pitches. It kind of reminds you of that movie Lost in Translation. Did you see that one, August?
I've never seen a movie.
Oh.
Ball one to Thurston as Hunter's breaking ball comes up just a bit short. As many Orioles fans know, Tommy got married this offseason. His bride is in attendance for tonight's game. Television cameras captured her between innings, removing a piece of crab cake from between her glistening fangs. And there's another strike on the outside corner. Thurston steps out of the box again, and now he's raised the bat above his head, and he's opened his mouth to the heavens, emitting some kind of incantation. A column of light has appeared in the swirling dusk, descending slowly toward his bat. He raises the bat to meet the verdant plume descending from the vortex. All hail the bat! All cower before the light!
And strike three called as Hunter dots the inside part of the plate with a changeup. It appears that Thurston neglected to call timeout before stepping out of the box to begin his incantation.
And that is 4 straight, set down by Tommy Hunter. LaRoche stands in now, hoping to get something started here for the White Stockings. LaRoche is wearing his trademark battling helmet, which not only protects his head, but also conceals his entire face, which no one in the national media has ever seen. And now the vortex that swirls above us seems to have responded to Thurston's strikeout, as long purple tendrils have begun to creep down into the third deck of Orioles Park.
You know, LaRoche's helmet reminds me of that special knee guard that Kevin Youkilis has to wear. I tell you, no one gets hit quite as often as Uke.
Youkilis is, of course, playing this season in Japan, where he is rumored to be conspiring with the government on some sort of climate-controlled device. Hunter misses outside with the curveball, and now the tendrils have begun snatching fans in section 336 at random and flinging them out of sight as the strange yet sweet, sweet music grows ever louder. 1-0 on LaRoche.
And as Wei-Yin Chen learned all too painfully, you just can't get behind these White Stockings hitters, even here at the bottom of the order.
He also learned that physical pain is nothing compared to the horror of seeing one's progeny consigned to a lifetime of servitude. Of course, should Hunter and his bride ever successfully procreate, their offspring would be heir to the throne of Steve Pearsylvania, that ghoulish kingdom in the north where the men are strong but foolish. And LaRoche has turned on a 1-0 offering and drives it sharply to the left side of the infield. J.J. Hardy, as he has all game, simply turns and watches the ball skip by as a single tear rolls down his stubbled cheeks, and the corpse of Nolan Reimold feels the ball and gets it back into the twin Jemiah Weekses covering second base. So a runner on first with one away.
That's Hunter's first real mistake of the evening. He left the fastball up, and LaRoche just turned on it. Let's hope Tommy can bear down here and retire the side before the White Stockings increase their lead.
That's unlikely, because digging in now is a loose amalgamation of Tommy Hunter's fears and insecurities. The glistening, writhing mass of smoke and rapidly changing spectral images appears to all who behold it as the thing they fear most in this world.
Now, clearly this matchup doesn't favor Hunter, but the scouting reports, which appear to be covered in a thin film of light blue slime, suggest that the loose amalgamation has a weakness for the cutter low and away, so if Tommy can successfully work that corner, he might just induce an inning-ending double play.
It looks like that won't be happening, Mike Bordick, as Hunter has just collapsed to his knees. He's covering his ears, deafened by the sound of a blood-curdling scream that only he can hear, Orioles manager Buck Showalter is jogging out to the mound from the dugout, and it looks like we're going to have a pitching change. Meanwhile, the vortex spins on, and the purple sky tentacles are growing ever bolder. They've now claimed the majority of the fans above the SK out-of-town scoreboard, as well as Orioles right fielder Nick Markakis.
And losing Hunter here is not a good development for the Orioles, who've had to rely on their bullpen so much throughout the entirety of this series and really all season long. It's times like this you wish the front office had been able to sign a couple of durable starting pitchers during the offseason, particularly now that we may never see Wei-Yin Chen again.
And this call to the bullpen is brought to you by National Bohemian Beer. Do you find that you can't remember why you wanted to get out of bed in the morning? Do you find yourself laying in the gray pre-dawn light, feeling as though your legs have been replaced with concrete? There are a list of things that need to be done today, but you can't remember why any of them are important. The car is due for a tune-up, but where would you need to go? There is no one expecting you, and the groceries you intended to purchase will only slowly decompose next to last week's supply. You told yourself you'd cook more this year, but who are you kidding? There's no one to eat with you, except the cat. You look over at your dresser. The cat is sitting on a pile of your dirty clothing, looking at you, his eyes casting a judgment that you've never seen there before. Could that be more than simply hunger? Could he be planning your demise? No, you tell yourself. That's crazy. He is only a cat. And yet, would anyone notice if he succeeded? How many weeks would it be before someone missed you? How many weeks of your body sitting in this very bed with your cat and this dresser and those piles of dirty clothes and the wall still blank where you intended to hang a photograph of that place in Ireland where you were last happy? National Bohemian. Oh boy, what a beer.
Brian Matusz is on to take his warm-up tosses as wind levels on the field approach gale force proportions. And we'll be back to find out if he can get the Orioles out of this inning after these 15 seconds of mysterious noise conveying no clear message.
Welcome back. The amalgamation of fears has lurched back into the box against Brian Matusz, who so far seems to possess more courage than his predecessors.
Which is funny when you think about it, because anyone who's ever looked at Brian Matusz knows that he perpetually wears the expression of perpetual insecurity, made famous by the George Michael Bluth character on the television show Arrested Development.
I've also never seen a television program.
You know, that's just so funny to me, because...
And Mike Bordick, former shortstop for the Baltimore Orioles, is the latest victim of the strange but powerful and compelling vortex that circles above us. I can see him now, screaming as he is sucked into the sky by the ravenous tentacles, and Matusz is into his windup, and the first pitch to the loose amalgamation is a strike right down the heart of the plate. Fans, don't forget to text in your votes for tonight's player of the game. When making your selection, however, please do remember, none of the options are human or playing in this particular game. And also, we don't have a number to text to. So, simply whisper your selection into your tear-soaked pillow when night is at its darkest. And it's 1-0 on the loose amalgamation as Matusz toes the rubber. He rocks and delivers a